early. I see there's a lot of people here already. Okay. Chantal, you can start the stream early if you want. It just, I don't have to think about it if you want to. Okay, good. Everyone's coming into the room anyway. Okay, how's everybody doing? A lot of folks here gearing up for WASDE. Love that corn on the cob. Well, I love soybeans, edamame. I don't know how many of you eat edamame beans, but they are fantastic. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. Edamame. I believe that is correct. So I want to welcome a lot of members are in on our invitation. So don't forget about the WASDE class tomorrow. It should be fun. 12 noon. It's free masterclass, and it's really going to be awesome. I've found some great videos and lots of really good info on a really good report. Fun report to trade. Now look, we can't guarantee it's going to be a winner today, but no matter what it does today, I'm still going to make money on it for the year. That's a good report. So definitely come to the free class. It's going to be a good class. I work hard on these. Putting together all the slides. All the info. It's time consuming. So one more time, and I'm not going to bug you about it. So tomorrow noon Eastern time. And what is that link? So make sure you register. All right. So we got 1 minute to go. As I said, I'm here early. For some reason, people struggle a little bit putting the corn and soybean instruments on their charts. That people get all nervous because it's soy and corn. It's not gold and the mini S&P, but they're just exactly the same. It's just a different symbol. There's nothing special about putting corn or soybeans on your chart, so you don't have to worry. There's nothing extra to worry about. Corn trades like the mini S&P. It's 12.25 per tick. And I'll show you what I do. I like to set up a couple of different trades. All right, so welcome everybody to the WASDE report. We don't call it the WASDE report. We just call it WASDE. 10-minute trades trade room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-minute trades. Remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It's possible to lose money trading futures. Please trade carefully. Trade only money you can afford to lose. And I always laugh when I say that. Who can afford to lose any money? No, nobody. I can't afford to lose. I don't want to lose any money. So, but be able to take a loss. That's the point. So WASDE, I always show one special report, one special video. And why do I never, I don't know if I'll ever learn to do things the right way. Maybe one day I'll learn to do things the right way. Maybe, probably not. Can't teach an old chicken to lay an egg. I just made that up. So we got corn. Now, I already tested volume, so I don't want any questions today about how come it's March? Don't trade March. It's got to be December. Trust me, we are on the right contracts. Okay, I checked the volume and I wanted to prove it about an hour ago. Corn on March is the right contract. The volume is way higher than any other contract. 12 is the previous. It's not trading anymore. And soybeans are a little bit interesting because you have two contracts that have enough volume to trade. And I would definitely trade on January because the volume is a bit higher. So if you're going to trade soybeans, trade January, not March. So that means ZS 122 as opposed to ZC 322. Now, with WASDE, there's certain things that we've learned about this report. Every now and then, the report tries to scare you out of trading it. And I hope that this is the right video. But in April, it did exactly that. I hope it's April. Please be April. Because I want to show you something that happened. It's April. I hope. Okay, so watch this left side where my cursor is. That's corn. Corn's going to go really high before the report comes out. Before the news is released, corn's going to explode, looking as if the news came out early. There you go. That's 10 seconds before the news. In the old days, and when I say in the old days, I mean like 2014, 2015, my boss used to have a phrase, that is a tripwire to cancel. So if you ever see that phrase on a daily trade report, you would have had a tripwire to cancel. All that means is the index moved way too much right before the trade. That's what it means. And you should cancel that trade because it's just from our experience, we have learned that when you get that kind of a big move before the news, usually, not always, but usually the report doesn't work. So I canceled my corn trade, but I had a soybean trade set up. So watch what happens. And ironically, corn worked anyway, but I would have canceled it and I did cancel it. I unchecked my corn trade. I checked my soy trade. Watch what happens. Right there, 9 seconds before the trade, I just swapped instruments. And corn, you'll notice, has an explosively safe move. Right there, bingo, it's going to go now. There it goes. And soybeans had a kind of a gentle, smaller move. Not a very good move, but profitable. So, but corn wound up still being the better trade. It was a better trade. The point is, and this is a rule for any event news-based trade. If you're in a report, you're ready to go, you're set to trade, and you see a large irrational move before the news, you should cancel your trade. You will not always have the opportunity to trade another index. There might not be another index on that particular report that you've tested for trading. So sometimes you just have to walk away and accept the fact that you missed a trade, not missed a trade, but canceled the trade because the index warned you. That is a very unusual, very large move that even though corn still would have worked if you just put your trade on normally, it would have been a tripwire to cancel. It was a correct cancellation, okay? Very important to recognize that kind of behavior. Very important to recognize it so that you're able to make proper decisions. It's all about making proper decisions. It's not a guessing game. It's like my son's an attorney, right? He's a criminal defense lawyer, and he's in a trial right now. And the government doesn't have a case. And I told him, so start your opening with, hey, you know what? This isn't a guessing game. You can't guess if someone's innocent. You can't guess if corn is moving big before the trade. You got to know. You got to recognize it, okay? So that's why we spend all our time looking at videos and putting the time in. You can't believe how many videos I look at. So do you really? So anyway, here I'm going to set up my soy trade. So I have the ability, I'm trading corn because I like corn better. Although I like soybeans lately. I've been eating a ton of soybeans. But I like corn as a trade better. The bracket is bigger on soybeans. It's 8. The bracket is 8. And if I do trade beans, now it's the middle of, we're getting into winter. Okay, it's not the middle of winter, it's the beginning of winter. It's possible there could be a little bit less movement on WASDE starting now and going into the next couple of reports, because traditionally it moves a little bit less in winter. So soy, I'm going to go targets, and please don't copy my exact targets. Use one above, one below. All right, do something different. Don't do the exact same thing that I do all the time. All right. The stop, the stop on soy is 12. Okay, the stop is 12. And the entry time, and I struggle always on this report with entry times. I always enter at 59. Always. But soy always calls for 58. And it's almost always safe also. I don't anticipate taking a soybean trade today. Bracket of 8, choose the number of positions you want to trade. That's not what I tell you to do. That's what you decide to do based on your account size. The targets for soy are 7 and 17 if you trade 2. If I was trading 2, I'd probably do 7 and 20 because it's been moving so much better this year than recently, than years past. All right. And it's very important that I label my trades so I can differentiate corn and soy. Now, I'm going to go with the time I always go with because that's what I do. I've never changed it in 100 years. So I have a backup soybean trade. And you saw in the video I showed you why it's a backup. Okay. It's a backup because I'm just preparing should the market tell me that it doesn't want me to trade corn, and it really means it, then I want to have an opportunity to trade the beans. Because soybeans, while a little bit trickier than corn, they're whippier, they're less liquid. And today, I don't really care for the volume. They're mixed. It's almost mixed. So I'm not crazy. Soy would not be my choice today. It would not be my choice. There were a couple of months where we were going back and forth with corn and soy. There were a couple of months. And now my corn trade, excuse me, I've got a real throat. My throat's been bugging me since the beginning of the week, since we first got here. I hope I make it through the holidays. My bracket is a 6 on corn. And again, choose the number of positions and your targets. Choose them the way that you feel is best. Don't do what I do, okay? I want you to do what you think is right for you. You have ballpark targets of 7 and 17 on corn. If you're going to trade 2 contracts, do 6 and 22. Do 7 and 25. Do 7 and 19. Do 5 and 20. Okay, you can mix and match a little bit and change them up a bit, all right? Excuse me, I'm really sorry. And the stop on corn is a little bit smaller. It's 10. And the entry time is 59, 11, 59, 59. 11, 59, 59. Now I'm going to test my brackets before I do anything. Why? Because I just want to see my brackets before the trade, so I'll do a time of 0. I want my charts. I'll show you what I mean. My trade is on sim on corn. So if I enable my corn trade, I'll see my brackets. And I need to label it, right? I notice, I look up there, and it says JOBB, name of the software. I want it to be labeled corn, so I can differentiate it very clearly from my other soy trade. Because if I have to move my brackets, right? If I have to move my brackets, or if I have to change my trade, I want to know exactly where everything is located. I'm going to do the same thing for my soy trade. And I'll go back and change my time in a second. I just want to make sure that I want perfect space on my brackets. I like when the brackets are clean, so I can see them really, really well. It's really for us, so we can analyze the trade when we're done. If the brackets are tiny, we can't see what happened. It's hard to analyze, and that's why I bother. So sim, soy. See, the brackets are too wide, so I'll just shrink my charts a little bit. And that way I'm covered. Now, when you do that, so if you set your time to 0, the program thinks that 0 o'clock has already passed. It's not 0 o'clock, it's 11. 11:59, 59. So make sure that your charts are on the right account. Everything goes back to normal. And that way my soy is ready. So now I can move up and down, but I don't want to spread them. They're spread properly, okay? And now I'm going to check my corn. It gives me an opportunity also to check my setup. So my bracket is 6. This logo situation, I have to discuss it with the programmer. Mark, I am at a total loss. What's going on with the logos? My logo is not showing up, so I'm waiting to hear back. I've sent them a message. As we talked about yesterday, you can see that your software is enabled a couple of different ways, right? There's a couple of different ways you can check to make sure that your software is enabled. I'll go over those. Number one, now see, I don't want both trades trading. Number one, if you look in the left corner, as Mark was saying yesterday, corn shows up. Also, if you look in your log, click on log of these buttons here. And it says enabling Ninja Script strategy. So the log starts to show you things that you're doing. And then also, very important, under new, everybody that uses our software should have new Ninja Script output. And mine's full of text because I'm trading and it shows you everything the strategy does. Minimize that chart. Ninja Script, new Ninja Script output, minimize it. And save it as part of your workspace so it's always open. Always, always, always open when you trade. That shows us everything that the strategy did. So now we're going to check our time sync. So keep in mind that we don't know what the news is on this report. We're not going to know. We're only going to know that we're going to get filled because there will probably be a response to the news. Financial Juice doesn't have it. Investing.com doesn't have the news. Yes, you can go to the USDA website, but by the time you go looking for the news, the trade will be long over, I promise. And there's so many elements to the news, I don't think you could possibly analyze it in a way that would help you trade the news like we trade, say, a GDP report. There's just too much going on. Too many data sets in the report. It's complicated data. Time.is, I go to the website time.is. Okay? I go to the website time.is. That puts my computer in sync. That's what that does. If you are, there's ways you can put your computer in sync if you're a Windows user by just using Windows normal time sync, but it's very buggy, so I don't use it because I just don't want to waste my time with it. It's too buggy. What else was I going to say? Let me show you the WASDE report from a year ago today, last December 2020. Now, for some reason, I didn't have my money showing on the profit and loss, but you'll be able to see it in the realized portion of my control center. So it might have been an oversight. I might have been working on new charts that day. I don't remember. So I was trading soybeans only. Very interesting. Remember I said that we were experimenting and soybeans shot down, filled me, and then I moved my stop and it hit my target and we made $237 in about 8 seconds. And then it kept going, kept going, kept going. So maybe I could have managed that trade better. But however, I just wanted to show you the move. It was a good move, even though it was winter. Because someone had asked me yesterday, shouldn't you not, they didn't say don't trade it. They said, shouldn't you trade it smaller because it's winter? And that was soybeans, and they had a pretty darn good move. A very nice move. So I think, you never know how something's going to move. There's no guarantees that something's going to move well. You're only looking for consistency, and we've had good-sized moves. If you look at the daily report, the daily report gives you some good insight into the move sizes. 58 ticks, 45 ticks in September, 100 ticks in August. August was a massive spike. 37 ticks in July, 48 in June. So it's had very, very nice moves on corn. And then you can check soy. Soy usually has more slippage and bigger moves. 224 ticks last month. I remember last month, 48, 2 months ago, we got stopped in October. 136 ticks in August. August was monstrous. Now, you don't want to hang around in a corn or a soybean trade if it's a monstrous move, because they have something called limit up and limit down. Our targets are nowhere near limits up and limits down, but it freezes the market. It freezes the market. So you want to just be aware that if there's a gigantic move, you don't want to hang around in the corn or soybean markets. Why is the time different? Because it's believed that there's a slight difference in the reaction to the report test. That would be the reason. Slight earlier reaction sometimes in soybeans. If you look at last month, soybeans moved early last month, I thought. That's my memory. It absolutely was early. Not early, but quicker than corn by maybe a second. Watch soybeans on the right. Corn's on the left, soybeans on the right, and soybeans are going to move first. Doesn't always mean corn's going to do the same thing. It was a good second before corn moved. Soybeans were done, and it was a good strong move too. Now, test, interestingly, that was after 0-0. If you understand what I mean, it was after 12 noon. It didn't matter. It's that rare early move that might be affected by the time that we enter. Now, normally on WASDE, I don't cancel this trade because sometimes I've seen delayed response to the report, meaning it doesn't fill you immediately, even though it's a volatile type report. And we don't have any news anywhere to tell us whether or not the news is out. But 99 times out of 100, we know that the report's been released, just because the market will move corn and soybeans. So it's not like we're not going to know. We're going to know. You'll know there's a trade because most probably you'll get filled. That's what the odds are that you will get filled. So I want to thank everybody for coming. We're giving away 12 free days, the 12 days of Christmas holidays, as we say. And that's why we've invited you to come into the trade room for a holiday special free trade room. So we're glad so many people have taken advantage of our invitation. So don't forget, we're giving a free masterclass on the WASDE tomorrow at noon. Okay, and you're all invited. It's free, but you have to register if you want to come. And the registration is right here. It's 12 noon tomorrow Eastern time. And it's going to be a very instructive class on this particular trade. And it's a family money trade. And it's got a very, very interesting history. We'll go over that history. Many of the trades go back to before I got here. The bond reports were popular before I got here. The U.S. jobs report, of course, very popular. We trade many of the same reports that we traded 5 years ago. We still trade them today. So don't forget, if you're in our trade room, if you want to come into, if you're in our YouTube stream, you can come into our trade room for the rest of this week and next week as part of our gift. You just have to type into your browser 10MT Pro, and it'll put you at our trade room lobby. And then the password is holiday 21, and you can come in. Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube, you can come join us in the room. So now we're watching corn and soybeans just to see, they've been pretty calm. Neither one of them has very big volatility before the report. Usually one or the other has stronger volatility before the report. But you see these little numbers, that's an indicator that I use as part of NinjaTrader that shows me what the volatility is of that index today. So it's neither of them have been that active. Or you can't really tell without doing a deeper dive if you really think about it. It could be that it moved a ton and it came back to where it was. So I shouldn't really say it hasn't been that active. All I should say that we know is that they're close to where they started in this analysis period. And I usually start looking at 6 p.m. the previous day or midnight, one of the two. So we're getting ready, we're watching. Ton of people here. It's pretty much, it's the holidays. I would say we're almost officially mid-December. I would call Friday mid-December, tomorrow when you get into the double digits. I guess 12, we'll call it December 12th, mid-December, Monday. We'll call this early December still. But it's definitely holidays. I see my neighbors have their decorations are out. I don't know, it all came so fast this year. Seems unbelievably fast. So WASDE's got a minute and a half, 35, minute 35. Soybeans on the right, corn on the left, and it's a planting report. Exports, farmers love this report. Farmers use this report, I would think, for planning. It has information about acreage that's been planted. It's interesting if you ever go to the USDA website and look at it. It's an interesting report. How'd we find it? That I don't know. I don't know who found it. I believe that we've been trading it since I got here. It's one of those reports, it definitely goes back a long way. So we have 30 seconds. The calm before the report. It's always very, very nerve-wracking, isn't it? I don't remember the report everything being so calm. Okay, see what I mean about my brackets? They're perfectly placed. Soybeans went up already. and corn is doing nothing, absolutely nothing. And it stopped me out by doing a reversal and a whip. That's a shame, folks. It didn't follow through. Nothing you can do when that happens. It filled me short, and then it burst up to the long side. It almost looked like corn worked. That soybeans might have worked. Did anybody trade soybeans on that? So I look at the whipsaw that soybeans did. So nothing could have fixed that trade for me. It filled me at the bottom of my candle. There was no way I could have saved that trade. Nothing could have saved it. It filled me at the bottom of the candle. It's pretty rare that this report doesn't work. Even with the report not working, I have, if you look at the profit on this report, I'm still up for the year. It's just a shame because it's the holidays and it's promotion time, and you want an awesome, big, beautiful trade. Did anyone trade soybeans? That's what I would like to know. It looked like soybeans moved early. They certainly moved before corn did.
Lee, can you hear me?
Yeah, did you trade soybeans, Eric?
Yes. Hey, everyone. It's Eric Roth here. Yes, I did trade soybeans, and I'll actually share my video with you. I did trade 4 contracts, and all in, I took a loss. But I'm just trying to look at the video because, you helped me out with the math, right? Because I traded 4 contracts. If a full stop, I have a $425 loss. I'm wondering if there was if my first contract maybe got filled, or does that look like a full stop to you, Lee?
So it's 12 and a quarter a tick, right? So
Yep.
12 and a quarter is, yeah, it sounds like a full stop. It's a little more than 100. It's like $140 per contract. But I'll tell you, if you send me the video, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, and I could actually send it to you because I actually have it on my Loom, so you could actually even play it. I'll share it over to you in a second.
Okay.
One of the things I will also share in total transparency is that, behind the scenes while Lee is moderating, you know what I mean? I always want to try to test things out. So what's interesting, Lee, is that I actually tested the reverse or stopped out feature, and I don't see that it did reverse. Because that was something that I wanted to test. So I'll send you as well my output so we could send it to our programmer just to see if
Okay.
that's still working. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
use that because we wrote that pretty much for the jobs report. So I
Right.
haven't used it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me just chime in here, right? So obviously this blows, right? Best performing trade of the year, and would have been nice to finish the year with a really strong December too. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, and basically, I think, Lee, you were starting to share like the overall big picture. Do you have anything to
Yeah.
show? Like, I know you had a presentation the other day. I just want to remember, how much profit did we make on this trade for the year?
The WASDE was over 2,000. It was like
Okay.
20. I'm looking for my notes right now. I've got everything scattered all over because I'm preparing that
Yeah.
trade tomorrow. Let me see if I can pull it up.
No worries.
Give me
I'm gonna
one
mute
second.
myself, and I'll send you my recording. Okay.
Yeah. So I was up over 2,000 on the WASDE in general. So this takes $900 out of my profit. So I'm up about $1,100-$1,200 on the WASDE so far since we started trading in April on the WASDE. So it's still profitable. And it always, when there's a stop on a report that behaves normally so well, I'll trade it very actively next month, and I will anticipate a win because it's almost unheard of that this report stops out 2 times in a row. It's extremely, extremely rare that will happen on this particular report. it normally will not have two bad reports in a row. So of course, you know, it's frustrating. Nobody likes to have a report that doesn't work, but we do this over and over and over. It's going to happen. And now, you know, we have to pick ourselves up and go back for 12:30, and I'm going to trade the 30-year bond. And 30-year bonds are currently still a family money trade. So I have to take the egg off my face and come back in 20 minutes and trade another report. I can't let the fact that this report didn't work today bother me. It does bother me because look, you know, it's the holidays, and we want to be able to show great things for the holidays. It's frustrating, but there's not a whole heck of a lot that we can do because we know we take the risk by coming into the room. I didn't have to come into the room. I didn't have to have a trade room, but we are always honest and transparent with all of these trades and all of these setups, all the big trades. I mean, it would be stranger if we didn't, it would be weirder if we didn't have a trade room than if we did. You know, if we didn't have a trade room, people would wonder why. So let me see, Eric, where is your video? Let me see if I can show your video.
Yeah, you will be. You just click on the link. It's going to pull up in a web browser. It's going to, oh, there you go.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we could see it, and you could just scroll. You know how the deal, Lee.
Yeah, let me see if I can see what happened.
And that's the thing. So for our members who lost money in this trade, what can I tell you? Is, you know, no hiding from it, right? And this is one of the reports where, like, normally I would say, Lee, let's look at the results, right? And usually for most of the reports we trade, you're able to at least understand. The WASDE is a little tricky because the reports that are shared are not similar to some other reports, which I'll get to in a second. But go ahead, Lee.
Okay, so
You got
soybeans, it looks like what happened, Eric, is it filled you short before the move up. No, look, it filled you long. You're long. And
That's
then
why
that stopped you out.
Yeah, that's why I thought for a second, was there any possibility that my first target got filled? It happened really fast, as you can see.
It didn't hit
No.
it. It didn't hit
No.
it. It filled you long and then shot down and took you out.
Show everyone the targets that I had really quickly, so you guys could. Well, actually, you won't see the. Well, it might be harder, but I was trading 4
It was so
contracts.
fast, I don't think we'll see them. Yeah,
If you hold
I
it
don't think we'll see
there,
them.
I had 3 tiers set up, and I was trading 2 contracts on my first. So 4 contracts, as you can see, and then right there. So you could see where my first, those 2 sell limits, right?
Yep.
That was 7, and then I think I had it at 15 and then 20. So all in, I had a $425 loss in soybeans. So I share in the pain, you know, and the frustration, and got to call it what it is. Total transparency. Yep. That's what we're going to continue to bring to the table, and there's no hiding behind unfortunate losses. All in, obviously, Lee, this report, you know, the losses, you know, from your trade today definitely cut into it, but this is by far a very profitable report. In fact, on the masterclass tomorrow, I'm going to share with you my early days, and this is a report that I've been trading profitably since 2013. In fact, you didn't even have to trade 4 contracts or 5 contracts like Lee and I were doing. I was able to trade, again, different time period, right? But in 2013, you know, you could, off 1 contract, you could make $700 on this trade. So this is not going to be the end of the WASDE. This is just, you know, unfortunate. And I don't know, Lee. I mean, I don't like to make excuses. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in the whole Friday traders. You know, it is December. It is a tricky month, you know. But what do you usually do, Lee, when it comes to the results for the WASDE, as I was kind of mentioning? Do you actually go in to look at the results and make sense of it?
When you, what do you mean? I'm not clear on what you mean. Look at the results.
Oh,
I'm
no,
confused about what you
meaning
mean.
like normally we kind of debrief, we go to Forex Factory, we see what the actual results are, what the, you know, so like.
On WASDE,
Yeah.
I never even look because it's not on for it. Doesn't, you have to just go and look at the report.
Yeah.
I never, in all the years I've been trading it, for me, it doesn't really, it's not a factor because you can't, you would have no way of analyzing the results during the trade. It's just not something that
Right.
affects the trade.
Right.
So I never bothered, to be
Yeah, and
honest.
just so that
I've
everyone
gone and looked
understands.
at it.
Yeah, so just so
Yeah, I've
everyone
gone and read the
understands.
report.
Oh, you have? This is a World Agricultural Report. It's like a foreign language. It's not like something that, like, okay, they were predicting 400,000 jobs, 600,000 jobs. So it's not something that, even if you did take the time to look at, which I think it's still a good idea to look at it, maybe ahead of tomorrow's masterclass to see what was going on. And I'm just trying to look at my charts real quick, right?
So
So
here's the WASDE report, okay? And you can see all of this info. You click on WASDE report. And what's interesting is in May, they made some changes. And I saw this back in May. They made some changes to the way they report the release. And it actually has been better since they made those changes. So I was definitely thinking about the report maybe changing in May of 2021, but if anything, it got better. But this is the report. And obviously they know the report. They know what it is before the report comes out. It's just released at a certain time. There's probably some people that know what's going on. So this is the actual report from today, if you want to read it, 12/9/2021.
Lee, I gotta run. Okay.
Okay.
But I just want to say, guys, please take advantage of the free masterclass tomorrow. And you could maybe show everyone where they go to sign up for that. And I think we're all big boys and girls here, right? And so total transparency, it definitely stinks, but we're gonna gear up for the next trade. And I mean, definitely let's debrief a little bit more and try to understand it. But we have another family money trade coming up, and we're gonna continue on. All right, Lee. So I just want to say goodbye to everyone, and I will be chatting with you soon. Okay.
Okay. See you later.
Bye,
All
Lee.
right.
Bye,
Any
everyone.
questions? Anybody have any questions? I think what I'm going to do is keep the room open, but I'm going to take 5 minutes and just, I'm going to have to change my charts. Frankly, I just want to heat up my coffee, folks. If you all want to hang, our next trade room's in 15 minutes. So there's no point in closing the room. I really don't think it makes any sense. So bear with me. I'm going to change my, I'm going to change my charts, turn off my video for a few minutes and put up a little note that I'll be back like in 5 minutes, and then we'll start getting ready for the next report. So you might as well stay in the room if you want to. I mean, you obviously do whatever you want. And the first thing I do is I will change to the bonds, ZB322 and GC 222, because we do have an interesting gold setup also. And I don't walk away from my computer and leave my computer in live mode. Not that I have a cat or anything that's going to jump on the keyboard, but it's just smart to be safe. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay. And it'll be, let's say, 12:20. And I really am heating my coffee. That is what I'm doing. So I'll be right back. I'm going to mute myself. I'll be right back. Hey, Chantal, you can close YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, for watching, and we'll see you all next stream.